In section 2.4, we're going to add another step to this. What we're going to do is put a variable on both sides of the equal sign and talk about how to handle that. In this first video, we're going to tackle examples A, B, C, and D. E, F, G, and H, those examples will have some special cases as far as solutions go, so we're going to tackle those in the second video for today. But we are just going to talk about how to handle it when there is a variable on both sides of the equal sign. So we want to add this one more step to get it to look like a problem that we know how to do. All right, so on this first one, what we want to do is make it so that the variable is on one side of the equal sign. So what we want to do is move this 2x over here so we get it on the same side with the 5x, and then we will solve it, and hopefully it will turn into a problem that you know how to solve. And to move an entire term, we're not just moving the 2, so it's not like we're going to divide by 2. We're moving that entire 2x term. So we want the 2x to cancel. So we're going to do that by subtracting 2x from both sides. And again, that is a subtraction property of equality because we're subtracting the same thing from both sides. So that is just a subtraction property of equality. And the equation that we have after we do that, 5x minus the 2x when combining those like terms, becomes 3x plus 2 is equal to 14. And now hopefully this looks like just a normal two-step equation that you would know how to solve. First thing we do is handle the addition, and we want to move the 2 first by subtracting it. And once again, just like up here, we're subtracting the same thing from both sides, so that is a subtraction property of equality. And once we do that, we have 3x is equal to 12. And now to get the x by itself, now we only want to move the 3. So that is when we divide both sides by that 3. Since we're dividing both sides by the same value, that is the division property of equality. So then x is equal to 4. Now again, not going to do this for all the examples, but you can always just check to see, is 5 times 4 plus 2, is that equal to 2 times 4 plus 14? Well, 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2, just following order of operations, is 22. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 14 is also 22. So that is equal. So then we know that x equals 4 is the correct solution. Now on the next one, following the same steps, we're going to move the 4k. So we will subtract 4k from both sides. And once again, that is the subtraction property of equality. Don't forget to list the properties that are illustrated. And then 3k plus 2 is equal to negative 10. And then in the next step, we want to move the 2, so we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. And once again, just like above, since we are subtracting the same thing from both sides, that is the subtraction property of equality once again. Once we do that, we have 3k is equal to negative 12. And now comes the division. Dividing both sides by 3, that is the division property of equality. So we then are left with k is equal to negative 4. Quick check. Negative 28 plus 2 is negative 26. Negative 16 minus 10 is also negative 26. So we know that that is our solution for K. Now in the next two examples, now we bring parentheses into the equations, and we're just going to be adding one more step to what we've done before by distributing to get rid of those. We've done this on the previous day's examples as well, except after we do this, we're going to end up with a variable on both sides. So we have 10x minus 2 is equal to 3x plus 33. And justifying that, you can say that that is the distributive property. So now getting the variable on one side, we can move the 3x, so we subtract 3x. And by the way, it does not matter which variable term you move. If you'd rather subtract the 10x, you can definitely do that. Personally, I like to move the variable so that my variable term stays positive. If I subtracted 10x from both sides, 3 minus 10x, that would create a negative 7x. I would still end up with the same answer. However, it would be negative. It's just a personal preference there. So in this case, and once again, that is the subtraction property of equality. So then solving this, we get 7x minus 2 is equal to 33. To move the 2 now, we add 2 to both sides, and that is the addition property of equality. So the equation we have now is 7x. Let me erase that little trail. 7x, 2's cancel, is equal to 35. And then to solve for x, we divide both sides by 7. And since we divided both sides by the same value, that is the division property of equality. And hence, x is equal to 5. And again, a quick check. 25 minus 1 is 24. Times 2 is 48. 5 plus 11 is 16. Times 3 is also 48. So we know then that that is the solution. Now in D, once again, we're going to use the distributive property. So we're going to distribute the 4 on the left side to get 8y plus 4. And that is equal to, distributing the 2 on the right side, 2y minus 26. And once again, that is the distributive property. Now to get the y's on the same side, 8y minus the 2y would leave me with a positive value, so I'm going to move the 2y. And that is the subtraction property of equality, because we're subtracting the same thing from both sides. So when we subtract that, we have 6y plus 4 is equal to negative 26. Then we'll want to move the 4 by subtracting the 4. So 6y is equal to negative 30. And once again, that was the subtraction property of equality. And finally, to get the y by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 6. So y is equal to negative 5. And a quick check, we'll have negative 10 plus 1, which is negative 9, times 4 is negative 36. And here we have negative 5 minus 13, which is negative 18 times 2, again, is negative 36. So it checks. That's the end of this video. In the next video, we are going to look at equations that have special cases for their solutions.